Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Brews and Reviews. It's Knowledge, and today I'm reviewing Lice's Ask Anyone, the tribute to mfdoom, and I am sipping on a Tripel from New Belgium Brewing Company in Fort Collins, Colorado. That's an 8.5% Belgian-style ale, so let's get into this tribute track. Ask Anyone is the best tribute that's come in for mfdoom so far because it has the personal touch. It's got Aesop Rock, the collaborator, the label mate, the friend, and Homeboy Sandman, somebody who was clearly influenced by him. These two are collectively known as Lice. And I like the picture that they used for the cover of this and the video that they released on YouTube because it has the personal touch. It's the man. It's not the mask. It's the man that they knew. And you feel like it's even more personal because it seems like it was taken on tour or backstage at a show or something like that. Like it could have been a picture that Aesop took himself, but at the same time, he's still covering his face, keeping that artistic integrity and still having that respect and what we knew him as in the music and not showing his face and letting that get in the way of the lyrics and what he was putting out there into the music world. And any Doom fan will recognize this beat immediately. It is a Doom beat, or as he was known as a producer, Metal Fingers, and it was originally released on his series of instrumental albums Special Herbs under the title Datura Stramonium. It was later used on the track Me and My Gang on the criminally slept on album from Masta Ace, flowing over Doom beats called mfdoom, and it was also used by Aire and mfdoom on the track Super Friends, which can be heard on his album Unexpected Guests. And another notable use of it was Joey Bada on his 1999 mixtape with the song titled World Dominion. And hearing this beat here with two great MCs flowing over it makes me think that we should hear a whole Doom tribute album with great artists flowing over his beats. Rhymesayers, make that happen. Let's hear that album. Get those artists together. I want to hear the tribute to Doom over his own beats. And it can't get much more personal than Aesop on the first few lines where he's paying respect to the deceased and also talking about the very first time that he heard him. He says, "Roses for the OG, MF. Where were you when Bob dropped the OG dead bent? I was over Tony's on some woe is that, no is that. Yes, it's Zev Love X sounding reckless." So referencing some of that original Doom under his original name. And Aesop is telling us he was a fan from day one and he knew what this man was capable of the very first time that he heard him. And I love this line here in perfect Aesop style descriptiveness. He said that Doom was barfing up a masterclass in charismatic disrespect. And I would never think to describe Doom's style in that way, but when we hear Aesop say it, you're like, yeah, that's Doom. Aesop just has that way of describing things in such a different kind of way, but when you really understand what he's saying, then you connect with it. And he continues that kind of pertinent descriptiveness. After talking about watching Doom at a show, he says, "Doom stay gluing true grit to the bass line." Doom stay gluing true grit to the bass line and made himself a hero and a villain at the same time. This just makes me respect the way that Aesop thinks, but at the same time, it makes me respect Doom anymore because that's what he was doing. He was gluing true grit to the bass line. And I like seeing Aesop as a fan. So many times we don't think of people that we fanboy over fanboying over somebody else, but everybody's a fan of somebody, and Aesop makes that clear that he was a fanboy of Doom. But you definitely see it in some of these lines. How many times have you had experiences where you felt like you were connecting with an artist or in some way, or were at the same spot for something that they were talking about, or just felt the same way that they were describing the way that they felt? And Ace describes that common experience perfectly with the way he was thinking about some mfdoom lines when he says, back in 94, you had that line about the Nikes on the wire. I'd always see these Nikes on the wire when I was driving through a neighborhood someone said you stayed in, convinced I'd found the actual inspiration. For the record, I was not even close to the right neighborhood. And somehow he brings his own dark humor to this mfdoom tribute track, while at the same time making us connect to both artists, to Aesop as a fan and to Doom, because we're getting that personal aspect of an artist and how those lines that may have connected with us also connected with many other people, including Aesop Rock. He continues revealing himself as just a fan or a person who is in the presence of a great artist. When referring to something that Breeze Bruin said, another artist who was close to Doom, he says, Breeze, I have this memory of me and you rapping Meat Grinder to each other at a barbecue in BK. Got the same memory with a couple other people too, trading Doom lines. That's what people do. You were always kind to me in person. I tried to play it cool, but I was always kind of nervous. And Ace ends his great, personal, poignant tribute with the most emotional bars of all. He says, to the man with many names, I hope you're somewhere with your brother. Of course, referring to Doom's brother, Subrock, who he was in the group with KMD until his brother died, partly leading to Doom developing the new identity and the persona as a villain. Boy Sands comes in with another fan's perspective, and he at first references the crazy rhyme schemes that Doom had that inspired so many other rappers after him. And seriously, if you haven't noticed from listening to Doom how intricate his rhyme schemes are, then check out some of the breakdown videos like highlighted on YouTube. It's just crazy what this dude was doing with words. Sandman references that and some good choices for some of his favorite Doom tracks. He says, where'd he find them patterns? He ain't had no manners. My favorite villain is the drop off Viktor Vaughn, but every time I hear the Great Day intro, I'ma sing along. Then Homeboy shows how powerful Doom's legacy is, putting him in some rarefied air with some other deceased artists. My pantheon is Bird and Mingus, Prince and Metal Fingers. Bird and Mingus were elite jazz musicians, and I don't even need to tell you about Prince and what his legacy is. Putting Doom in that same air shows the ultimate respect and the impact that he had as an artist on this genre especially. And then I'm really surprised that Sands would include the most controversial part of Doom's career. I might not have brought that up on a tribute, especially so soon after the man had died, just not to remind people of the negativity that came out of that. He says, okay, you stiffed a few promoters who thought they booked the man under the mask, but they could never tell for certain. And he, of course, is referring to the so-called Doom poster scenario where MF Doom sent some other people wearing the mask to some of his shows, and Homeboy Sandman plays it off as, okay, Doom was just stiffing promoters, but at the same time, you got to think about those fans who were there at the show. They paid to see MF Doom, and it wasn't MF Doom who showed up. They had to feel cheated. So we can't just gloss over the negative aspects of somebody's career just because they've passed on. But at the same time, I remember that they were saying that Doom was sending these other people to shows because he was too sick to perform. And now in retrospect, that makes even more sense because it could have been that sickness or that sickly nature, at least, that ultimately led to his early death. I've thought about the Doomposter thing since he died. It puts it in another light. Still doesn't make it right. They should have just canceled the shows. But at the same time, he probably needed money to pay medical bills or whatever else was going on with him. Either way, it wasn't really necessary to bring it up here, and I feel bad for even talking about it. Either way, it's just one dark spot on a great career, and it really makes no difference now. And Sands hits us with the ultimate tribute at the end, giving us one of the most popular mfdoom songs and one of the lines that he'll always be remembered for, and flipping that in a very creative way to pay respect to this great artist. He says, "No one ever done it better, so I'ma keep my computer on caps lock forever." This is actually a tribute song that's worthy of the epic life and career of mfdoom. Notice how this isn't even on streaming, so this is not any kind of cash grab or trying to capitalize on the name of a deceased artist. Believe me, there will be others coming out of the woodwork throwing together mfdoom projects just to make a quick buck since he died, and that's disgraceful. But that's not what this is. Lice is not making $1 off of this song. This is something that they felt just needed to be said. This is how they are paying tribute and coping personally with his death. It's both their respect and their final goodbye. And I like here too, at the end of the video, they even got his birthday right, July 13th, 1971. Maybe a lot of you noticed that there was a miscommunication about his birthday where Wikipedia had it wrong. All these hip hop outlets had it wrong. Everybody on Twitter was wishing him a happy birthday on January 9th. And nobody really knew when his birthday was until some sleuths broke it down and went way back into his career and his personal life to figure out that his birthday was actually on July 13th. So the dude was truly a villain until the end, tricking us even after his death. Rest in peace, Doom. Thank you for watching my review of Ask Anyone. If you like this, go ahead and hit like now and hit me up in the comments about what you thought about this mfdoom tribute. You can also subscribe to my channel. There's plenty of hip hop and hops content there, which I drop consistently. So until I see you next time, keep buzzing.